ladies and gentlemen, I've always really enjoyed using Leviathan's Breath. There's just something satisfying about drawing back an explosive warhead on a bow strung with a gear chain. The weapon just feels powerful to me, but I'll be the first to admit that the feel never really matched the performance. I like the bow, but it's consistently come up short of many other options in the heavy slot, which makes it hard to justify taking into higher end PvE content. But with the 30th anniversary update in Destiny 2, Leviathan's Breath's Catalyst did see a buff. Previously, all it did was increase the ammo reserves for the bow, but now Archer's Tempo has been added on, decreasing the draw time with precision hits, which should help in alleviating the weapon's biggest flaw, that long 1328 draw time. So we'll measure out Leviathan's Breath's new damage numbers, compare it to where it was at, and see how much more viable it is with the change. Hopping right in, Leviathan's Breath will crit Carl for a combined 61,070 points of damage between the impact and the blast. We're able to carry a maximum of 15 total arrows in reserves, and this cannot be improved by equipping a bow reserves mod. This puts the total damage for all arrows at 916,050 points of damage. Time to fire off all 15 arrows without the benefit of Archer's Tempo, and no, I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing, is a painfully long 38.93 seconds. This could be improved by equipping a loader mod, but for all these tests I'm running, I'm giving you baseline values. But in terms of damage per second, we're looking at 23,531. Not great. For a point of comparison, we'll pit it up against Sleeper Simulant, and this is without particle deconstruction. But I am going to give it the benefit of 2 linear fusion rifle reserves mods, bringing the total ammo count up to 16, and the Catalyst is unlocked, improving the charge time as well. Sleeper crits Carl for 82,119 points of damage, putting the total damage through all reserves at 1,315,184. Time to fire off all 16 rounds, equating to 4 full magazines. I have clocked at 26.2 seconds. So Sleeper's damage per second, even with needing to reload the weapon 3 times, is 50,198, blowing Leviathan's Breath clean out of the water, to nobody's surprise. But Leviathan's Breath now has Archer's Tempo, which I figured would significantly reduce the draw time, thus boosting the weapon's damage per second. And since we do need to continually land crits to keep Archer's Tempo procced, I needed a chunkier target to get an accurate reading on things. So I figured loading up a Gambit private match and unloading on a Primeval should do the trick. And I gotta say, I think the gamer gods were smiling down on me this day, because first try, I was able to chain together 15 perfectly drawn crits, making full use of Archer's Tempo. Now, there might be a slight margin of error here, because shooting an enemy in the face is a little bit different than shooting at a wall. But I do think I did a pretty stinking good job of releasing that arrow right after it was fully drawn. To my dismay though, it still took 35 seconds to touch off all 15 arrows, reducing the time to empty by just under 4 seconds when compared to the base test, and only improving the weapon's damage per second by about 2,600 points, bringing it up to 26,158. Now, I figured maybe I was a shade slower getting these arrows out versus a live target, but not by much. So I decided to time out the individual draws as well. It came in at 1.33 seconds without Archer's Tempo, and 1.04 seconds with the perk procced. You subtract one from the other, and that's a 0.3 second improvement. Over the course of 14 arrows having that improved draw time, that works out to about a 4 second reduction, which checks out with what I was seeing in-game. So, through deductive reasoning, I'm going to say that Archer's Tempo on Leviathan's Breath ain't worth a in the grand scheme of things. Now, I had no expectation that Bungie would allow Leviathan's Breath's draw time to dip down to 440 like our primary bows with Archer's Tempo. You know, I figured being a heavy weapon, the perk would have to be specifically tuned. But man oh man, this is not doing nearly enough. The draw time reduction and the reflected damage per second increase is laughably low. I don't know if someone plugged in the wrong values at Bungie, or if 0.3 of a second per draw was all the bigger boost they were willing to give it. But for Leviathan's Breath, this just isn't enough to make it a truly competitive pick in the heavy slot. It needed more. Will I continue to use it from time to time? Absolutely. I still think it's a fun weapon, and it does have some utility points with its void damage, its AoE blast, and its intrinsic unstoppable capabilities. Unfortunately, it's still gonna end up hanging in my vault when I need to bring along some serious firepower for a given activity. And even though they didn't go quite far enough with Leviathan's Breath in my opinion, they tried. Bungie gave it a shot. And I do appreciate that they're at least taking a crack at bringing up some of our older exotics. But if you did enjoy this video, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, drop any thoughts in the comments down below. Any support you're willing to lend is always greatly appreciated. And if you're looking to join a great community full of awesome Guardians, the Ironworker Gaming Discord link is in the description. But with all that being said, you guys are awesome, and I'll catch you on the next one.